Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for today's Facebook Live. Today I've got something really exciting to share with you, and this is November's issue of Crafts Beautiful magazine, and we've got some beautiful stamps and a bonus die from Sheena Douglas on this collection. So if I take you down to show you what exactly you're getting with this, you're going to have so much fun crafting with it because I'm going to try and show you just how versatile it is during this live today. So as well, if you've got some comments about any of these stamps, or if you've got any Sheena Douglas kits as well, or any of the previous Craft Beautiful, drop the comments down below so we can see what you've made. In this one, you're getting 17 stamps and a bonus die as well, which does actually match up with one of the stamps up here. So you're getting 18 pieces overall, so you're getting a lot in here, you're getting a lot to work with. And the one thing that's been achieved in this and aimed to sort of give you is the versatility of being using this across multi-season. Because if we look into some of the stamps, as I peel this away, you can see this is a mandala, but it actually has holly in there with berries. So of course think of Christmas with this one. And you've got your beautiful robins here. So as I peel him away, you can see we've got the lovely robin stamp, and we do have a pheasant. So I'm thinking winter autumnal things with this, but then of course we do have the mandalas that can be used all across the season with multicolored effects, very zentangle. So there's lots you can do with this. So I'm going to get straight into doing some demos for you to actually see what we can create. So what I'm going to do first is, and I'm going to lean towards Christmas, okay? So I've got a beautiful red cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp straight onto it using my load and fold. So I'm going to dip straight into, let's pick the mandala stamp with the holly in there. Let's have a look. So I'm going to go for this one. So this one's got our holly in there. So we've got the beautiful mandala going all, sorry, I picked up the wrong one. Here we are. We've got a beautiful holly in there, all the way around with the berries, and it's going to give us a really nice sort of finish, but it's going to be very classical and very Christmassy at the same time. So I'm just going to tack my card down into my load and fold here, just to stop it from moving. And these are really good size stamps as well. They're a really comfortable size to work with, so they're going to fit in the load and fold that you're used to working on, but as well that you can add them on a stamping platform, so they're very versatile in the fact that you're going to get a lot of stamping area with these, but also they're very manageable, and they're beautiful to colour in as well. If you like to colour in with your pens or watercolour, they do look stunning. So I'm going to take a clear ink pad for this one, so I'm going straight over my stamp, loading it up with the clear ink. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm going to do some heat embossing onto this. So all my ink is now applied onto my stamp. I'm going to apply pressure to the back, just evenly across there to make sure I'm transferring all that ink onto the cardstock. There we are, and you can then faintly see where that ink has transferred. So if I pop this to one side, what I'm going to do is get some gold embossing powder, which is just dreamy to work with, and sprinkle it straight over this stamp. Now, because with this stamp you've got such fine, intricate detail, as well as large sort of flat surface area, we're going to get a really good contrast with this. It's going to give us a really nice variation. So I've got here just a piece of copier paper. I'm going to sort of shimmy my card first, and then tip it so all of that comes off there like this. So you can see we're getting all of that away, and then what I'm going to do is any areas where I've got some embossing powder stuck to my card, just taking a watercolour brush, a dry brush, and just brushing off any bits of embossing powder, because of course sometimes if the card does get a bit of static to it, it may cling on. So I'm going to move that to one side, pop all my embossing powders back inside my tub here. So I'm literally just going to get a fold in my paper, pop it all back, and then that can now sit to one side. Okay, so I'm going to quickly give my stamp a quick blast with my heat gun. I'm going to allow it to warm up first, get its temperature, and then over the top of my embossing powder, you can see here, let it get to temperature, it instantly starts to make it all turn. It's all that plastic dust melting together. You can see it all just turning into that beautiful shimmer. There we are. So I've done half the stamp there just to show you. You can see here we've got the beautiful shimmer of all that embossing powder there. So if I just flip over to this one, I've got that all dry, it's all set, and it's ready to work with now. So I'm going to start making my card with this one. So all my bits and pieces are here for my card. And I've gone with those traditional Christmas tones because they are my sort of favourite tones to work with Christmas. I'm quite traditional when it comes to that time of year. And the thing is with this is you could make it the icy tones. You could cut into this, make like sort of sections of ice with this. There's lots to work with on it. So I've got all my little bits and pieces here. Let's have a look. and what I'm going to do is start to build all of it together. So I've got mats layers, I've got card, I've got bits all cut out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight in with some foam tape. Here we are. So on the back of my red here, I've got some foam tape, and this is just going to give me a bit of depth. So all I've done with that is once it had dried, I just then run it straight through the die cutting machine with some of my Circle Essential dies to give me that lovely circle shape, which just echoes the shape of the mandala. There we are. I'm going to sit that in the middle of that gold mirror card, because then that's just going to really complement everything that's going off in there. And we've got a beautiful emblem. Now, if you think, you could use those as hanging decorations as well on a tree. You could do so much with those, but of course we're making a card today just to give you a bit of inspiration. So I'm going to move on to some red cardstock. I think I did cut a green mat of card. I did, it's here. There we are, I'm losing things. Here we go. And then I'm just going to use a tape pen for this, because I just want this to be flat on here. So I'll just take a bit of tape on there. I'm going to stick that into the center like that. So then I've got there a matte and layered mandala with all those beautiful hollies and berries in there. So I'm really starting to set the scene of the tradition with this card. And I'm going to start with my card blank and build up, I think, from there, because I like to sort of have my back layers done, and then any additional elements I'll stick on afterwards. So I'm going to get my tape pen. Here we are. Run some tape just around here. Now, as I'm doing this, thinking about this particular collection, we've got robins in there. You could colour those in realistically with your watercolours if you are a colourist. If not, you can do some beautiful rainbow effects with those to tie into different seasons. Of course, you can then actually add embossing powders over those and add your paints to them. You've got some really nice different sort of techniques that you can achieve with this. And as well, it's a really nice inclusive collection to have, because we've had collections previously where we may have had one or two birds, or we may have had a small Zentangly pattern, but to actually have an inclusive set that's all cohesive, to have a full system that works together, is really nice to have in your stash. So I've got some gold mirror card there, and now I'm just going to move on to that red again that I originally heat embossed onto, and that's just going to give me a full echo of all of those colours together. Small amount in the middle. Here we are, so I'm just going to stick this one on here like that. There we are, so we've got our matte layers there, we've got our green, red, and we've got our gold. Now I'm going to take that first element that we started with, I'm going to pop that in the centre, around about here like that. And then what I've actually done is, with that first piece that we actually cut, I'd cut another one of those. So I've done a second one, die cut it again in a circle, and then I cut it up into quarters. Okay, so you can see I've quartered it there. So I had 4 of those in total, and then I matted those onto a gold mirror card. So I've got 4 of these sections, and what I'm going to do is take a bit of tape, and these are all going to sit in the corners, and I'm going to leave a small border of red that goes around the trim of those as well. So I've got a matte layer within a matte layer. So I've got 4 of these all together. So I'm going to go ahead and stick all of these down. And of course I'm using it with a tape pen because it's quite quick. But depending if obviously you have more time, you could use sticky tape, or you could use wet glue for this. Or if you wanted to use your glue gel to give more dimension, of course you can do. So I'm sticking these in all 4 corners. And then we do have a selection of sentiments on here, and I want to leave that to your imagination because there's so many different ones you can pick. And what's really nice about the sentiments on this is they all link to the stamps. So you can see there, we've got a beautiful card that's all ready to go for Christmas. So we've got our 4 corners, we have our beautiful centerpiece there, and it all matches, it all ties together, which is really nice about this. But then if I go over to that stamp set that we've got, we took that beautiful mandala out of there, but then as I flip this around, you can see we've got Shake Your Tail Feathers, we've got Sing Your Best Song, we've got Pheasant, we've got Stand Out and Be Proud. There's some really inspirational, positive stamps in here that will match any card that you want to give as a gift or to give as a token to anybody. So what I'm going to quickly do is show you another technique that I've done with this, because I've done one that's a traditional Christmas theme, but of course we want to be able to do more with this. We want to be able to do different things. So I'm going to quickly pop this one back, and then with another one, I'm just going to take some watercolor card, and I'm going to load my stamp up. And if you've seen Sheena Douglas on air before, she does some absolutely beautiful watercolouring. She's an incredible colourist and painter and illustrator as well. So this really just sort of echoes what she does because it's what she likes to be able to produce and provide for you. So here I've got my load and fold. I'm going to quickly stamp this one out. So I'm going to use a permanent ink pad for this one because I'm going to water paint over this. Okay, so all of my ink going down onto my stamp, and I want to load this up nicely because there's so much detail in here, but it prints so crisp. So all my ink on there, straight over to my watercolor card. I'm going to evenly apply pressure. There we are. So we've got a beautiful stamped image there. So it takes just a few seconds to dry with it being the solvent base. And if I then quickly just dab into my watercolor paints here, got some water. These are my rare earth paints, these ones. They are on the website, so do check those out because they are incredible. I think you get 18 colours in there to choose from. So if I dip into my red first, I'm just going to give a quick wash going over the top. Dip my brush back in there. I'm going to go straight to yellow on this side. Put my brush back inside my water. Straight to a light blue. We'll start him here. There we are. And then we're going to go a bit of green. Blend that in round here. Get a deeper green. There we are. Oh, that's beautiful. Back in the water with the blue. And let me know as well if you like to watercolour, because watercolour is something I recently got into. And having stamps like this, having new stamps to work with, allowed me to sort of elaborate on my stamping techniques with watercolouring because it's just so therapeutic to do. And the fact that I've really not followed any guidelines here, I've just gone over the edge, created almost a background under that stamp, which is just so beautiful. And you can see there how nice that looks. And then what I've done is gone and cut that out. So I've got one here that's cut out, and then you've got a beautiful emblem to work with. And if I quickly stick it onto this card, just to show you we've got two different themes to work with here. So setting all my pieces aside, what I'm going to do is get, let's have a look, we're going to get a bit of foam tape, stick it onto the back of our mandala. Now this would be great for maybe if you've got a granddaughter or a grandson, they like to go to festivals, or they like a pop of colour in their room. You could do this on cards, you could do it on journals as well. So it is multi-use, really, really lovely to work with. So I've got my mandala there, and then what I'm going to do is I've got some black cardstock, and I'm going to take my tape pen and just add some touches of tape on here. That's just going to grip my watercolour card. Now I chose to use watercolour card, of course, because I'm using the paints and it holds the mediums really well. But of course, if you've not got any to hand, you can use a thicker weighted cardstock and it will carry those mediums. But the texture of a watercolour card with paint on it, there's just something special about it. It just looks so lovely. And then I've got a piece of blank white cardstock, it's 240 GSM, and I've gone around with my blending inks just with a brush, dabbing into each different colour, and it's giving that sort of celestial, spacey, cosmic look, which I really, really like. Straight over here with a tape pen, we're going to pop that straight on there for a mat. So you can see here we've got a theme going on now. We've gone from traditional Christmas to a completely different theme within one collection. So tons to work with on this. And this is just going to be a mini easel card. So I'm going to pop some of my tape on the base of my easel here to form the card itself. And because it's circle, we've not got a right way around. We can go straight in and not worry about it maybe being upside down, anything like that. I've then got my black mat to echo the matte layer from outside. Get my tape pen working there. Here we go. So do let me know as well if you like to make cards, if you're a stamper, if you're a colourist, please do let us know, because it's lovely to see what everyone creates with these kits, because I think it's nice to get little touches of a kit as you go, because it just gives you that bit of inspiration and allows you to build on techniques. And I think that's what's great about these kits, because it allows you to explore different crafts within them without having to take on too much at once. So maybe if you're new to stamping, this is great for you, because then you've only got 17 stamps to work with. It's not overloaded you too much, and it sort of allows you to dip your toes into it and have a play. With this die is incredible because it lines up perfectly with the stamp that you also get in here. So you get this small flower stamp and it overlays stamps onto this die, and of course you cut that out. And what I've done is I've stamped those in black, die cut them out, and then I've just done the same thing with the mandala and washed straight over with a bleed of watercolour. And these are going to form the little stopper for my easel. So I've got them on foam tapes here. So I'm going to peel the backs of these off. And we're going to just stick these on here like this. So that's going to give us a stopper, but also means that our card can be posted but still folded flat. So let's have a look. We're going to probably have a third one just built up on there. There we go. So that there is an easel card using just those two elements from that kit, the stamps and the dies, and you can create such stunning effects. So we've got here Christmas, and we've got all around seasonal, summer, spring, a bit of a party theme going on. There's loads you can do. Imagine this as well, stamped onto fabric and heat embossed, and you could make your own surface pattern with these. Or even if you were to stamp these onto coasters and varnish over the top, you can make some really nice sort of faux cuts and tangly sort of coasters with this. So perfect for home decor, really on trend. But of course, for Christmas as well, what could be better having a collection that you can use all the way across throughout the year, no matter what time of year it is. So I do hope this has given you a bit of inspiration as to what you can do with this kit, because I've loved working with it, so I hope you do as well. So do look out for this collection. It is with the Crafts Beautiful magazine, so check that out, and do drop us down any comments that you wish to add and we can get straight back to you on those as well. So thank you everybody for joining me today. See you later.